So I've got a fresh translation for you from 2 Corinthians 6, 14 through 18. So here we go, starting in verse 14. You must not be causing yourselves to be coupling unevenly to unpersuaded ones. The word for faith, faithless, without faith. Unpersuaded ones. For what fellowship to equity and to lawlessness? Notice equity and lawlessness are pitted against each other. But what communion to light towards shady obscurity? Verse 15. But what synchronized harmony to Christ toward Belial, the worthless one? Or what allotment to a persuaded one amidst an unpersuaded one? Verse 16. But what joint deposit a temple of God amidst idols of images? For you all are being a temple of a living God, just as the very God says that I will indwell in them, and I will walk all about within, and I will myself be to them God, and they will themselves be to me a people. Verse 17. Through which you must exit from out of the middle of them, and you must set a boundary from off of. Lord is laying forth in words. And an unpurged thing you must not be attaching yourself to, and I will receive you into. And that's right, there's no object for that. It's just into, it's part of the verb, to receive into. And I will receive you into. And I will myself be to you into a father, and you will yourselves be to me into sons and daughters. Lord all vigorous is laying forth in words. And yes, that phrase, the Lord Almighty, is literally all vigorous. So it's quite different than just mighty. Mighty has the potential, but vigorous has the active movement, the active action. So into has that feeling of transformation here. When he says, and I will receive you into, it's a transformation into fellowship with him, because that's how the passage starts out with. It's about fellowship. It's about communion. And so this into, it's implied that it's into fellowship, because he's contrasting one who is in fellowship and communion and one who is not. And here he says that you must exit from out of the middle of them. Remember, when we talk about church, the word church, ecclesia, comes from ek and kaleo. That's to call from out of. And you're called from out of the cosmos. And cosmos doesn't mean the same thing as what it means in modern English. In the ancient Greek, cosmos meant a whole collection of individuals, which represents all living people, except for those who have been called out. And so you're being called out from amidst them. And here, Paul's also talking about that because he's writing to the Corinthian church, through which you must exit from out of the middle of them. That's church. You're called out from them, from the whole collection of individuals. You must exit from out of the middle of them, and you must set a boundary from off of, to say that you're not going to cross this boundary to participate with them again and be part of their culture. The Lord is laying forth in words, and an unpurged thing you must not be attaching yourself to. That is pointing to what is created from the culture of the whole collection of individuals who are not called out of into the church, the world, right? It's a terrible translation calling it the world because it doesn't include the physical world. And so you must not be attaching yourselves to an unpurged thing, and then God will receive you into communion and fellowship, because it says at the beginning these contrasts of what does light have to do with darkness? What does a persuaded one have to do with an unpersuaded one? And if you are attaching yourself to an unpurged thing, you are behaving as an unpersuaded one. And God will not take you into communion and into fellowship. So I hope this has really caused you to think about the passage and what it means and the seriousness of what God says here. May the Lord bless you as you seek him with all your heart.